Shut the gates. They are right behind us. Lock the atmospheric seals now. The panicked screams inside our transport ship were deafening, but they didn't stop the cold, black void of space from burning with the crimson plasma fire of our pursuers. We weren't conquerors. We weren't an invading fleet with gold-plated superdreadnoughts or clean military spreadsheets. We were the last remaining survivors of the Ilari Republic, starving, unarmored refugees packed into rusted cargo haulers, running from a ruthless galactic empire that had sworn to liquidate our entire bloodline to maintain cosmic symmetry. Our navigation systems had completely short-circuited during the blind hyperspatial jump. We crashed into an uncharted, primitive solar system entirely by accident. I'm Ilari Elder Vane. As our bleeding fleet dropped out of warp, my heart sank into absolute despair. Blocking our path was Earth, a world our ancient archives labeled as a chaotic, terrifying death world populated by aggressive, unpolished softskins. According to every logical calculation, a primitive species faced with a sudden armada of dying alien ships would either fire their nuclear defense grids out of panic or hand us over to our executioners to buy their own safety. But humans don't run on your pathetic galactic logic. Before our tactical computers could even register our coordinates, the massive Imperial Hunter fleet that had been tracking our warp signatures tore through the fabric of space directly behind us. 60 black iron destroyers, armed with planetary dark matter cannons, locked their glowing red targeting arrays onto our defenseless refugee ships. The Imperial commander opened a system-wide broadcast, his mechanical translator droning a heavy, metallic rasp that vibrated through our tattered hulls. The biological remnants of the Ilari are flagged for deletion, the machine automated. Primitive inhabitants of this sector, step away from the assets. Turn over the refugees immediately, or your atmosphere will be burned into a lifeless sheet of glass. My crew dropped to their knees on the grease-stained floorboards, weeping and preparing for the final liquidation. We had brought nothing but misery to this young world. We were ready to accept the math of our annihilation. Until the primary communication grid of the entire sector was violently hijacked by a single, unpolished human signal. All caps for emphasis can't describe the absolute, spine-chilling roar that thundered across the subspace radio right then. Emerging on the view screen wasn't a sniveling human politician begging for peace. It was a rugged Terran fleet admiral, his uniform tattered, his face covered in industrial soot, holding a smoking welding torch in one calloused hand. He looked at the massive Imperial fleet, then looked at our crying children, and his wide amber eyes went completely dead and cold. "You've got a lot of big words for a bunch of lizards wearing shiny tin cans," the human admiral whispered. His voice was cracked like old, dry leather, but it did not shake an inch. "We don't know who these folks are. But they came to our door looking for a ceiling, and on Earth, we don't hand over guests to murderers." The Imperial commander shrieked in outrage, "Your compliance probability is 0, primitive ape. Our sensors show you have no energy shields. Our dark matter cannons will shatter your world in less than 2 minutes." The human admiral broke into a slow, terrifying, demonic smile. He threw his welding torch onto a metal console. "We don't need energy shields to fight uninvited parasites," the admiral growled. "Boys, lock and load. Protect the guests." What happened next completely shattered 10,000 years of Imperial military doctrine. The humans didn't waste time deploying symmetrical, elegant warships. Instead, the entire surface of their moon literally slid open, revealing thousands of hidden, underground kinetic railgun silos built deep into the raw, heavy bedrock. They didn't use clean lasers. They fired multi-ton solid tungsten slugs accelerated to 3% of the speed of light. The absolute, unmitigated violence of the Terran defense was deafening. The human railguns spoke in a synchronized, ruthless rhythm that tore the night sky apart. The massive Imperial destroyers, built to withstand high-tech energy beams, were completely defenseless against the raw, kinetic momentum of heavy-flying mountains. The tungsten slugs punched clean through their gold-plated armor, fracturing their internal structural matrices and turning the Imperial hunter fleet into floating clouds of burning, screaming scrap metal in less than 90 seconds. The spreadsheets had failed. The Imperial calculations were completely broken. Our refugee ships slowly glided into Earth's orbital docks under the protective shadow of massive, unpainted Terran warships. As the hangar doors opened, we didn't find cold conquerors waiting to enslave us. We found thousands of humans standing in the dirt, holding medical kits, warm blankets, and hot food, ready to rebuild our lives with their own bleeding hands. The universe thinks everything can be managed, intimidated, or bought with sleek technology, clean programming, and massive empires. The galaxy looks at a soft-skinned species and assumes they will always choose cold calculation and self-preservation over honor. But they forget that our chaotic nature, our absolute refusal to let the innocent be slaughtered, and our total fury when a bully threatens our home is exactly what makes us the most dangerous apex predators in the dark. Because when you threaten someone who sought asylum under a human roof, our spreadsheets go straight into the fire, and we will rewrite your destiny in blood and iron. So, next time you track a fleet of refugees to a blue planet, turn your ships around and run.